Am I the asshole for calling my parents selfish for having me, knowing they'd passed down a hereditary illness, and going low contact after they hid it, putting my child at risk too? I, 28 female, recently found out I have a serious hereditary illness that's going to screw up my life. And I am so mad I can barely type this out. It's a degenerative illness. No cure, nothing. My body's just gonna slowly get worse. And the kicker, my parents have known that this could happen my whole life and never said a damn word. This illness runs in my family. My dad's mum had it, his sister, my aunt, died from it a few years ago. I was living overseas when she passed, and my parents told me that it was cancer. Cancer. They lied right to my face. It wasn't until I got diagnosed that they finally came clean and admitted that she had the same illness I do. When I confronted them, my dad wouldn't even give me a straight answer. I asked if he had it too, and he dodged every single question, acting like I was overreacting. My mum, on the other hand, tried to justify it by saying they didn't want me living in fear. Are you kidding me? I could have been prepared. Instead, they chose to let me walk into this blind. And here's where it gets worse. I have a 2-year-old son. My child might have this, and they never told me that I was at risk. I could have had him tested, made informed decisions, anything. But no, they took that from me, and now I live in constant fear for him too. Then my mum had the nerve to ask me if I would rather not have been born than to deal with this. Can you believe that? She turned it around on me like I'm the monster for even thinking it. And you know what? Yes, I said it. Yes, I would rather not have been born than deal with this disease. They made a selfish choice, and now I'm paying for it. They knew the risks and did it anyway for themselves. They wanted kids, and now I'm stuck with this. I called them selfish, and I meant every word. Now they're begging me not to tell my younger siblings. They don't know about this yet, haven't been tested, and my parents want to keep it that way. They're hoping that they'll get lucky, but I'm not gonna lie to them. I refuse to let them be blindsided like I was. They deserve to know the truth. I've gone low contact with my parents. I can't stand to even think about them right now. My mum keeps trying to guilt trip me, saying they were just trying to protect me. Protect me from what? The truth? No. They weren't protecting me, they were protecting themselves, from the guilt of knowing that they've passed this on, and now they want to protect them too. But I won't. I love my son and my siblings too much to lie to them. Am I the asshole for going low contact and refusing to keep their secret, even though they claim they were just trying to protect me? Not the asshole at all, OP. That's genuinely evil for them to do that. This is not even an ignorance or malice thing, this is straight malice. What they've done is straight evil, and there's no sugarcoating that. Your parents make me want to throw up. They are disgusting pieces of shit, and anyone that does that willingly to kids is a disgusting piece of shit as well. They also have no remorse. They don't care. They just want to keep the charade going. Screw them. Absolutely screw them. I know it's stupid given well, there's no precedent for that, but I think there should be criminal charges for this kind of negligence from your parents. Willful negligence. In my heart of hearts, I want to see them go to jail for this. In a perfect world, you never have to deal with this disease. In a just world, you're told from the start and given tools to deal with this disease, and they stole that from you. Your parents deserve less than nothing, not the asshole. Father of 347 says, sounds like our family and Huntington's disease. We're praying that the last children that have it don't have any kids. It has decimated a chunk of my mum's side of the family. Huge Green says, I was just thinking that this is literally my life. Known history of family illness, parents took the gamble anyway, decided to have 4 children. I have 3 healthy siblings and I am going to die. My siblings have already taken measures to make sure that they will not pass this down. It ends with our generation. None of us in good conscience can have children. Parents didn't fess up until they'd already doomed one infant with the more aggressive form. Monstrously selfish. I will never forgive them. Edit, I do not have Huntington's, but Fanconi anemia, which of course you must inherit the gene. That is common in my community from both parents. I apologize for any confusion. Alternative Main says, I don't even know what to say. We're all going through it one day, but the way it's happening to you is horrible. I just hope you can find peace and have a restful life, as much as you still can. We'll all join you one day, brother or sister. I just wish you the best and that you can make the best of what you have right now. Take care, please. Gobbo Chomp says, not the asshole. My parents did the same to me, knowing, and I'm terminally ill at 24 years old from not being able to, or even having the knowledge to try to offset the effects of my conditions. It was selfish at all to breed, at least in my case, and not only that, but my parents kept me and everyone else in the dark about it. It wasn't even that I wasn't seeking care or answers. I've been very unwell and wonky all of my life and started seeing doctors for it regularly by 7. By middle school, I was very aware something was very wrong, and doctors didn't know either, so would band-aid slap it all. I needed surgeries and treatments that I never got because everyone denied there was a bigger issue. My parents knew. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome type 4, the vascular, and Charcot-Marie tooth disease. My dad told me about the CMT disease maybe 7 or 8 months ago. The EDS type 4 was only found because they couldn't figure out why my organ failure was so rapid. And both parents knew. You're 100% not the asshole, and your parents are selfish as hell, OP. I'm sorry. I also would have rather never been born. I've been either hindered or in outright pain probably 97% of my life after 6 years old, and just told to suck it up by doctors while my parents implied that I was a big faker, knowing I was a genetic wonk. OK Meringue replies, this is legitimately horrific. Vascular EDS is horrid, and I can't imagine how sick your parents must be to not only hide that from you, but then gaslight you about your severe terminal illness. Yeah, this has got to be the most evil thing I've read in a while. How could their parents just sit there and watch their child suffer while having the answers all along? That's grade A pure evil right there. Back up to the post, edits, most of you figured it out anyway. It is Huntington's. Update, I ended up telling my siblings. We met at my sister's house, and I just came out with it. I have Huntington's, it's hereditary, you should both get checked out. My brother started panicking that he and his fiancée just started trying to get pregnant, and now he's terrified. He's furious with our parents and fully on my side. He confronted them right after, and now we're both going low contact. My sister was more shocked and distant, but said she'll get tested. My parents are pissed that I told them without waiting for the right time, but I don't regret it. My siblings deserve the truth, and I wasn't going to let them live in ignorance like I did. And now, onto the update. It just kind of rehashes what I just said. My brother looked horrified. He and his fiancée had just started trying for a baby, and the fear in his eyes was immediate. His fiancée, who works as a senior nurse in palliative care, didn't take it lightly either. She deals with degenerative diseases every day and had a family member die from one, so this news hit her hard. She immediately took control of the situation. She has a lot of connections in the medical field because of her work, and she's been pulling strings to get my brother's test done as fast as possible. She's also been making sure that I get the care that I need, reaching out to specialists that she knows personally. She's actually moving things around and calling in favors to ensure that I'm seen quickly. On top of that, she's been adamant that I need to see a counselor, pushing me to get emotional support. Given her experience, she knows how hard this is going to be. And I'm grateful that she's making it happen because I wouldn't know where to begin. My husband and I have also been having difficult conversations about the future. We've decided to make my will, and I've been clear with him about when I won't want to continue living if things get too bad. I've also started recording videos for my son. I've watched P.S. I Love You years ago, and the idea of leaving something behind for my husband and son feels like a way to hold on to a part of me. We're planning to speak to a child psychologist soon to figure out the best way to prepare our son for what is coming, though we haven't started yet, and also to weigh our option about him and the possibility of him getting the illness from me. We are not going to make an uninformed decision. On Saturday, our parents invited all of us over to their house, saying they wanted to talk. My sister came too, but she didn't stay long. As soon as my parents started explaining how they kept the illness hidden to protect us, she couldn't take it. She stood up, said she couldn't handle it, and left. She's been distant since, and it feels like I've lost her a little. I know she's terrified, but it still hurts to see her pulling away. After my sister left, everything exploded. My parents turning on me, blaming me for ruining the family, and accusing me of causing all this chaos by telling the truth. They kept saying they did it to protect us, but I just couldn't respond anymore. That's when my brother's fiancée stepped in. She completely laid into them, telling them that they had no right to keep something this serious from us. She told them they hadn't protected us, they had betrayed us. And I was so relieved that she stepped in because I didn't have the energy to argue anymore. Then my dad snapped. He started shouting at her, telling her to stay out of it, and he shoved me. I couldn't even react, I was so shocked. My husband immediately stepped between us, grabbed my dad's arm, and told him he better not touch me again. My dad just kept shouting, saying I was the one who was tearing the family apart and blowing everything out of proportion. Holy projection, Jesus. That was it. We left. My brother and his fiancée walked out with us, and since then, none of us have spoken to my parents. They've been calling, but I don't want to hear their excuses. They are still insisting that they did everything to protect us, but it feels like they were just protecting themselves from guilt. I don't have the energy for their manipulation anymore. Right now, my brother and I are focused on getting tested. His fiancée is doing everything she can to keep things moving forward. She's been an incredible support, and we're relying on her to help us navigate what is next. I'm focusing on my son, my husband, and preparing for the future. There is too much at stake to keep fighting about a secret that never should have been kept in the first place. Mikor says, I just saw your original post. I'm so sorry that your parents decided to hide this from you. I have a genetic condition that causes me to be quite disabled, and am currently struggling with the reality that I would never be able to live with myself if I passed it on. My mother spins the same excuses and turning it back onto me by asking if I'd prefer not to be born. For them to hide it and be so mad breaks my heart for you. Not only are you dealing with this new reality and diagnosis, but they are choosing to break down your support system and blame you? It's awful, and I'm so sorry you and your family are dealing with this. I'm so glad for your sister-in-law for taking charge. At least someone is making this easier for you and your family. Difficult Muscle says, that's the same sort of situation that I'm sitting on. I have a genetic condition that's not going to kill me, but it makes my life really effing uncomfortable, and since I was tested and came back positive, I've been debating back and forth whether to even have children, because I don't want my children to have to deal with this shit. It's painful, and it makes my life uncomfortable. Why would I want my kid to deal with this? Why would any parent have a child knowing you're passing something that's going to kill them slowly and horribly? They made an extremely selfish choice, and then are angry that the people who are having to deal with the consequences of their actions aren't happy. Opie and her siblings deserve better. Jaeger says, I work hospice, and a while ago, I had a patient who had a rare genetic disorder that can cause aggressive cancer that ran in his family. Both his parents and all of his siblings had already passed away from cancer. The wife was telling me that they were told not to have kids. Well, they had 3. One died at the age of 15 from cancer, one was 25 going through treatment, and the other kid had to be tested every 6 months. F those types of parents. How could you let your kids suffer? Tosha Kate says, a family friend had his wife die from cancer. They had 4 sons, youngest was probably under 4 to 5 if I remember correctly. Now 1 or 2 of his sons have died, 1 is dying, and I think had to have his thigh bone removed as a Hail Mary, and the last one doesn't have the markers and is okay physically. They didn't know until after the mum died, and possibly only by the first sick son after her death. The surviving ones would be in their early 40s now, but I think the one that died first was late teens and early 20s. Those parents too, I'm gonna die on that hill, those parents too, that intentionally had 3 kids that all died from cancer, send them to jail. That's sick, that's demented, that's twisted. They deserve punishment for those actions and to be made an example of. You can choose to starve your kids. They will die of malnourishment. You choose to bring a child into the world that you know is going to get aggressive cancer. They will die of that cancer. I think that's just such a sick and twisted thing for people to do, and I'm disgusted by that. The road to hell today is truly paved by sick, twisted, ignorant, and good intentions because they were just trying to protect them. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm glad that OP had that confrontation with their parents. I'm so sad that no breakthrough could happen with them, and they choose to live with their head in the sand still. You know, the only way that those parents can protect themselves from owning up to their actions is to constantly deny, deflect, and project. If they continue down that path and never come back to OP and apologize, I hope they spend the rest of their days miserable. That's all I'm gonna say. Those are two terrible people. Oh my god. Our next post is by user ThrowRA, no interest, titled, "My 36 female, husband 33 male, hasn't been physical with me in 2 years. I'm running out of patience. Where to go from here? I'm 36 and my husband is 33. We've been together for 10 years and have no kids. We got married after 2 years together. A couple of years ago, he just seemed to completely lose interest in me physically. Nothing has changed in our lives, neither of us have put weight on, there has been no change in jobs or our home life that has put stress on us to make him lose interest. I don't think he's cheating, as he still leaves for work and comes home at the same time. Once a week, either he goes to his friends or his friend comes round to ours for a gaming night where they order takeaway and play FIFA. I'm at a complete loss. I've tried talking to him numerous times and he just says things like, all men aren't the same and want constant sex, or, as you get older, your sex drive slows down. I can't help it. I've suggested therapy, either individual or alone. I said I'd pay as I earn a lot more than him, but he says he doesn't need it. I've tried booking romantic weekends away. He has a good time and then just goes to sleep. I've bought sexy outfits and tried to entice him. I've worn clothes and had my hair the way he likes it. And I've even said to him, if you don't want to have sex, that's fine, but I can just give you blowjobs instead? And he said he's fine, but thanks. I've even offered him a threesome with another woman, but he said no. Our anniversary was last week, and I made him his favorite dinner, ran him a bath, gave him a naked oily massage, and I could see it was obvious he enjoyed it. But once I'd finished the massage, he just got under the duvet, turned his back to me and put his headphones in, watching something on his phone. I just laid next to him crying. This Saturday just gone, I went out for a friend's birthday. We were in the queue waiting to get into a club when the guy behind me started stroking my ass. At first I thought it was just the hustle and bustle of the queue, but then I felt both his hands squeezing my ass. I'm so ashamed, but it felt amazing. I never turned around and looked at the guy to see who he was, but I was backing up into him on purpose, letting him feel me up. When I got home, I felt such a mixture of glee and guilt. Then I got sad that this is what it's come to. I'm that lacking in physical touch, I enjoyed a creepy stranger. Is giving my husband an ultimatum on couples and/or individual therapy a good idea? I feel like I've exhausted every other avenue, and he just carries on oblivious to my needs. It's been 2 years since we last did more than kiss. I'm desperate. I'm surprised you didn't give him an ultimatum within 6 months personally, because I know I would, if intimacy dropped off to this degree and they were not willing to work on it, they did not communicate why this happened so suddenly. It would make me think that they are cheating, that they're getting their needs met elsewhere, because if the relationship was so solid on sex and intimacy before this point and then suddenly dropped off, that's not a you thing, OP. That is definitely a them thing. He is aware of the true reason as to why the intimacy shut off so fast and for such a long time, and he is lying to you. There is no way that he is not lying to you. He's also saying that he doesn't need therapy or counseling. To me, that says he's saying you need therapy and counseling to deal with the lack of intimacy that he's giving you, because he is unapologetic and does not want to work on a solution so that both of you are happy. I'd say give him the ultimatum, get love bombed, and then have him dip out after a week of love bombing, and then go through with your ultimatum after that. That makes sense to me. Frozen Robert says, there's something seriously wrong here. There is absolutely no way a healthy male at 33 should have virtually zero libido. Your situation is extremely bizarre. You've made significant efforts to revitalize your intimacy in countless ways, and he's not responding at all. He's not even trying. The fact that he's refusing to go to counseling is a major red flag. That's a giant warning sign. Shutting you down on this is a huge problem. I don't buy the health angle of this, to be honest. Sure, maybe he has extremely low testosterone, but I doubt it. Either he's checked out of this marriage emotionally, or he's got something going on behind your back. I personally know of 2 acquaintances who got married, maintained a veneer of normalcy with their wives, but stopped having sex completely. They explained it away with various excuses, but it turns out they were both gay and didn't have the moral fortitude to be truthful to themselves or their partners. It was too convenient to stay married, and they did so for years. The wives never caught on. Pretty sad in my honest opinion. I'm not saying that that is what's going on with your marriage, but I'd sure as hell tell your husband to show up to counseling, or your marriage is headed for the rocks. You really do deserve better. Plenty Persimmon says, has he had blood work or health checked? It can very well be low test or other health problems. At the very least, if he doesn't want to plow, he should at least get you off other ways. OP says, he's an incredibly fit guy who takes his health very serious, so I know it's not a weight or fitness issue, but he hasn't been for blood tests or anything that I know of. Angel says, takes his health seriously or takes his looks seriously. Early 30s is about the age most closeted gay guys will struggle to get it up for a woman. He doesn't need a doctor or a therapist, in my opinion, because he knows full well why he isn't interested. You are his beard. OP says, he takes both seriously. He eats very well and does a lot of running, cycling and swimming, but also does a lot of weightlifting. Absynthia asks, are you sure that he's not getting it from elsewhere? Usually that's the direct sign that something is wrong. And OP says, I don't know when he'd have the time. No one can say for 100% that they are certain, but I don't think he is. People always say, oh, but I don't know when they'd have the time to be doing that. They always have time, OP. There is always time to cheat. There is always time. You may not know it, but there definitely is. He is lying about something. Everyone that says, oh, well, he works with me at home all day. I don't know when he'd be able to do it. He's emotionally cheating on you, at the least. He's hiding a phone. He's doing something. And that goes for women too. Women can always find time for it. I'm not just hating on men. Equal rights, equal lefts, I say. And now, onto the update. I posted here last week and spoke to him about counseling and everything else the next day. He still wasn't feeling it and said he doesn't need it, he's happy, doesn't need sex, and feels no need to have to go to someone else to tell him he's normal. After hearing this, I thought that I'd keep asking and trying to talk to him for another month, and then if things aren't different, I'll tell him that I'm leaving. On Saturday, though, it all came to a head. I walked from the bathroom to our bedroom naked after my shower, as I had forgotten my clothes. He was still in bed, and as I walked into the room, he blatantly tried to cover his eyes. It broke me. I ran out of the room and started crying in the bathroom. It was so upsetting. I cried for maybe 2 hours, as all the hurt feelings and rejections of the last couple of years washed over me. He eventually came in to see me to ask if I was okay. I said no. He asked why, and I told him that I needed an answer in the next 5 minutes or I'm packing my stuff and leaving. I said whatever the answer is, we can work through it, but for my own sanity, I need to know. He didn't say anything, so I asked if he was gay or bi. He again didn't say anything, so I said to him if he is or he's curious, I'd be willing to let him explore that side of his sexuality and see what he prefers at the end of it. And he kind of nodded, and I thought I finally had my answer. Then he gave me the actual answer. He wasn't gay, he had cheated on me 2 years ago. And not just with anyone, it was a much younger, popular gym girl off Instagram. He showed me all the messages. He met her on a night out 2 years ago. She was in our town for a weekend for a hen do. She was 20 at the time. He recognized her and introduced himself as being a fan of hers. He goes to the gym every day, and I go maybe 4 times a week. I even follow her as she does great workouts, and I've even copied some of her routines. He said he showed her that he followed her, and she instantly followed him back. They went their separate ways, and then later on that night, she sent him a message and it was her hotel name and room number. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. That was the first message between them both. He said he went to her room and had sex with her. Then the next night, he made an excuse around midnight to go out and help his friend who had broken down, and that they met up again and had sex in his car. Then the next morning, he said he was going out on his bike, and he said they met at a park near his hotel, and they had sex again half an hour before she had to leave. She was asking for his number at this point in the messages, but he was saying he can't because of his wife, and she replied saying she knows how to be discreet. I remember this weekend. I remember that night out, he didn't get in until 5 a.m., and I was so happy he'd had a good night out, as he'd been under a lot of stress at work. I remember his friend breaking down and him going out to rescue him as I helped him dig the jumper cables and tow rope out of the cupboard, and even made him a flask of tea to keep him warm. He says that they haven't met since, and their messages on Instagram seem to confirm it, as she's messaged him a few times saying she wishes they could meet again. It is always her who initiates conversations. One message was very descriptive of what she wants to do to him, and that was sent less than a month ago, so he must have made an impression on her. I asked why, if he only had a weekend of sex with her, he hasn't touched me since. He said that after being with someone so perfect, he can't get hard for me anymore. I sat there heartbroken and felt like I'd been stabbed in the heart when he said that. Then he wouldn't stop. She's so young, her body was tight, her tits are big but pert, her ass is big but tight, she had no stretch marks, her skin is perfect, her body is fully shaven. I felt so numb and like a fat, ugly, naked troll. I was too numb to even cry. I just sat there and then asked him to leave me alone, which he did. Neither of us have spoken to each other since Saturday morning. I don't know what to do. Do I leave? Do I work on myself to make myself attractive to him again? I think I should leave, but it seems a shame to throw it all away for a weekend of sex. Sounds ridiculous, but even though my confidence and my self-esteem has been shattered, I actually feel better for finally having an answer. Lisa Simone says, he is horrible. Leave him ASAP. Sweet Miss Alice replies, honestly, you need to leave him. He cheated and then had the audacity to compare you to her. That's messed up. You deserve someone who values you and treats you with respect, not someone who makes you feel less than. Don't waste any more time on this guy. Trixie Mason says, girl, what? Leave him. He is saying all this horrible shit and you want to work it out? He's telling you all the reasons in ink to leave him. And OP says, you're right, I know you are. It's just hard. The Lone Wolves replies, sounds like being with him is hard. It is already hard, might as well be hard, free, and happy. Equivalent Board says, that is so seriously effed up. He left you 2 years ago. He just didn't tell you. It's not just that he cheated, maybe you could get past that, but from then on, he checked out on being a romantic partner to you. That is an awful betrayal. It's understandable that you feel so hurt. This is not your fault. You haven't done anything wrong here. You are not ugly or fat or a troll. You aren't. Your husband is an asshole, and that's not your fault. These are his choices. When offered sex by a fit, healthy, keen sexual partner, he's preferring to remember and presumably masturbating to her photos and his memories. That is unhealthy. He left you years ago. It's time that you left him properly and take all of your awesomeness with you. He can continue to enjoy his memories without the benefits of all the things that you do for him. OP replies, he admitted that he can't even watch porn anymore because it's not as good as the memory of a weekend with her. You are right, I need to leave. Faith Seeds replies, she's just a random woman he screwed 3 times, and he's mistaking the adrenaline rush of cheating on you for some godly quality that she has. She isn't better than you, nor do I believe the porn thing. He's a moron, actually. Oski says, he put her on a pedestal. I'm willing to bet after 2 years of him remembering it as perfect, even being with her again wouldn't live up to what he thinks he had. OP deserves better than this clown. More responses from OP. It's stupid, but I feel bad leaving him. I earn a lot more than him, and he wouldn't be able to live by himself if we split up. But at the same time, why am I paying for someone's comfort who doesn't respect me or want me? I need to grow a backbone. I hate how this has made me feel, because until he stopped touching me, I've always been pretty happy with the way that I looked. Now I can't even look in a mirror. When I have a shower, I cover the mirror in the bathroom. I've got mirror wardrobes in my bedroom, and I leave the doors open so I don't see myself. I am going to divorce him. Feeling like this isn't normal, and it's his fault. And OP on getting a lawyer and document everything, including screenshots of the messages, says, I sent myself screenshots of everything. And that's good, OP. That's exactly what you deserve. He's done nothing but hurt you, and then hurt you more to your face by comparing you and then being completely unapologetic about it. There was no shred of remorse in anything that he did there. It was all just to attack you and put you down. Jesus, what a disgusting human being he is as well. I'm glad that you are divorcing him. I'm glad that you got the evidence that you needed. I hope that you find someone that actually enjoys being with you and treats you like a human being and not as a disgusting person that they are disgusted by and always comparing to someone else. No one deserves that. Thank you for the story, OP. I very much appreciate you being so brutally open with us. Anyway, that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.